Hi, everybody. Welcome to Culturama Week 3, Sunday evening, where we're going to learn about comic book writing from Robert Paluso. Before I go into this, many of our events are being taped. Or I'm sorry, not taped. What is 1985? They're being recorded, and we're putting that up on our community page. We're going to continue with Culturama all year long now on some sort of Saturday. We're still working our way through that, figuring out best times and stuff. And you can find all of this information on our community page. And here's our community page. If you follow here or follow by email, you will be updated, and you'll get all of these things that updated information. So please join in there. And I'll drop that in the chat later. Robert Paluso, I met years and years ago when he was the manager of a film thing. And I walked in and I asked for the most random movie that I figured nobody else had watched. And we had a conversation about it for like an hour. And I came out and I said, that kid knows his shit, to my wife. And the guy knows everything. And then years later, he was so memorable. It was like 15 years later, he shows up at work and I said, "You're that guy." And he has not stopped impressing me. He's absolutely incredibly good teacher, great writer. He's going to have really great things for you to say to you today. So without any more ado, Robert Paluso.
Thank you, John. That's a very generous introduction. I'm really happy to be here with folks today. I'm very excited. If all goes well, this is going to go well. So that'll be the result. Okay, so this is very exciting. I'm really excited to be here through Zoom and all of you, with all of you talking, creating comics. I'm gonna be working through with you to create your own little comic today, like in the course of this next, very small,
very small.
Yeah, and so it's gonna be super cool. I have posted like a handout, which I'm also going to be like reading through, like screen share, like as we're going, ideally. So that file, it should be over in the chat on the side of your.
Called Creating Comics by Robert P.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. And once we get that going, can I do screen share, John? Am I a host? Yeah.
Yes, you are.
So,
I don't know anything about Zoom. I only do Google Meet.
That's okay, sweetie. You don't need to. I don't know where it is on the bottom of the thing. Usually it's like share screen.
Share screen.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Thank you, Maddie. It's in green, different from all the other gray icons. Okay. So I'm gonna get this up, and then folks, you can download the handout from the chat. We all good? Okay, so the first thing, yeah, okay, desktop, and I click the desktop, then I go share. Can folks see my screen? Give me some.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, cool. Okay, so this is working, yeah?
Yep.
Everybody can see this? Okay, and so then this is the same thing that I just file shared over in the chat screen, okay?
Exact same thing.
Exact same thing. Okay, cool. Alrighty, so we're here in the workshop. I think John. So let me start with the introductions. I'm Robert Paluso, as John told me. John told you. I teach English, creative writing, mythology, cinema. Tenured professor at Mount San Antonio College in Southern California, where I live with my wife, Denny Gomez, and daughter, Maddie.
Hi.
Hello, and this is her. She's with me. She's going to be one of our guest lecturer, assistant professing today at Culturama to help us with the creation of the physical comic book that we're going to be making today. Okay, so she's going to be first up in just a little bit. Yep. It's going to be awesome.
I'm gonna teach you guys how to make something very small for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be great because she's small but mighty, mighty in creativity.
And yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do that. And I'd like to go around and have everybody like introduce yourself and what you're into. I'd like to hear that. Your relationship to art, you know, like how comfortable you are with like the idea of drawing or storytelling through pictures, and just to like all of us be getting to know each other. I'm going to share my comic with everybody at the end of the workshop.
I will be helping with that because I'm one of the inspirations of it.
Yes, yeah. I'll talk about that at the end.
Yeah.
At the end, I'll talk about that. Okay. Okay, so let's go around and hear from everybody. Okay, Maddie, how are you doing with art? You good?
I'm doing good. I've been making special things for miniature people, kind of.
Dolls.
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 But
Yeah.
right now I just made my elf on the shelf. Zipperly, actually, I made her a whole entire house with screen changeable TV.
It's very cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah, and I'm in the middle of head swapping my doll to make a miniature me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maddie. It's great to have you with us today. Thank you for having us.
Me.
Okay. Up next, Danny, you want to go next?
Hi, my name is, hello. My name is Danny Gomez, and I am a writer. I like to write short stories, poetry, and screenplays. And I'm also a comedian, so I do a lot of writing for that. And as far as art goes, normally I do painting, impressionistic painting, but I also like drawing cartoons and little cute animals. So I like making up stories about cute animals. So that's probably what I'm going to be focusing on today.
Nice. Thank you, Danny.
Job.
Do you want to popcorn to somebody else that you see on your screen, Danny, please?
All right, Anthony, I see you, Anthony Cajero.
Hi everyone, I'm Anthony, and I am I've been like on Mount Sec for about 2 years. So I'm kind of new here. So here, and my major is animation. I like drawing some stuff like cartoons, or video games, and characters, anything. I'm currently taking a district drawing class.
Nice. Welcome, Adam. Oh, Anthony, sorry. Welcome, Anthony. It's great to have you with us, man. You want popcorn? Choose somebody else that you see on your Zoom screen.
Sure. Let's see. Serena Reyes.
So I'm Serena Ruiz. I'm actually in Paluso's creative writing class. I do a lot of fiction writing. I have multiple works in progress. They're kind of long though. The only time I do any illustration is just doing rough mock-ups so I can so I can commission someone else to draw the characters. And that's it.
Nice. Thanks for being with us, Serena. Do you want popcorn and choose somebody else to introduce themselves?
Forgive me if I say it wrong, but Nikel Best.
Hi, yes, I'm Nikel Best. This is my name sign and N on the chin. I recently graduated from California School for the Deaf in Riverside, just recently. So this is my first semester at Mount Sac. I'm majoring in deaf studies and social work specifically, but I do like to do art also. So I was really curious about this. I'm not really into art, but I do some. I do create different films, different maybe small mock-ups, just different characters, trying to explain as much as I possible regarding those kind of ideas. So yeah, that's me.
Welcome, Nikel. We're happy to have you with us.
Thank you.
Would you choose another person to introduce themselves, please?
Marta?
Hi, thank you. I'm Marta Chaussee. I'm a writer. I write nonfiction, fiction, poetry, just about anything. And I'm also an artist. I work in oils and acrylics and architectural scale mosaic. And probably, I don't want to say how long, very long time ago when my eldest son was still a kid, we took a comic class together in downtown Chicago. And the idea was to create a comic character for a comic strip. And so we both did that. We both came out of there with a character, but we never took it any further. Life intruded. So I'm curious to maybe carry on.
Nice. Welcome, Martha.
Thank you.
You want to choose our next person?
Sure. Let me scroll down. How about Edmund Yang?
Hello. I'm in Professor Paluso's English class, and this is my first semester at Mount Sac. So I really like Transformers, so I spent a lot of time in Onshape. It's like a CADing software to 3D model Transformers that like have articulations and can transform and stuff. And then also in my spare time, I also sell some of my figures on Reddit and like parts that people actually want me to design, and then ship it to them.
Nice. That's cool, Evan. Good for you, man.
Thank you.
It's entrepreneurial with the arts. That's nice, man. You want to choose our next person to introduce themselves?
Yeah, let me scroll down. Kelsey Bryan.
Kelsey.
I was clicking the wrong mute. Hi, I'm Kelsey. I like to paint. I'm going to show you. That's the butterflies. And then this one, the lady and the swan. She's going to be a cover soon. I'm so excited.
Nice.
And then the last thing I made, let me turn on the light. I haven't taken many classes, but I've known a lot of artists, and I just soak up what I can. So this is my mobile. This is what I've been making in quarantine.
Nice. Good for you.
Thank you.
That's awesome. You know, that's interesting you mentioned about, doing it in quarantine, because in addition to all these challenges, right? Like you got to make some art or something. You got to do something with your energy, right, Kelsey?
Yeah.
Want to do it. You have to. Absolutely.
And I've just been using as many materials as I already have, like
Good.
there's so many little scraps, and yeah, so that's been my project, to use what I have.
Good for you. Do we have anybody who hasn't introduced themselves yet? I can't tell from my...
I mean, I technically haven't introduced myself.
Francesca. What's up, Francesca?
Hi, I'm Francesca. I was raised by an artist, my mom. So art is very important to me. I have a lot to thank for comic books, because if it wasn't for reading Sailor Moon manga, I would have never discovered my love of reading, because I have dyslexia. Right now, as far as comic books, I'm working on my own comic about a Hispanic superhero who has the Aztec of War inside of her.
Nice.
Not the Aztec god of war.
Nice. That's great. Good for you, Francesca. Has anybody
Hello, everyone. Hello, Professor.
Mao.
Yeah, it's me.
Mao. Okay,
Yeah.
Mao.
How are you? My name is Georgie Mao. I'm in Professor Paluso's class, writing class this year. I don't know anything about the painting and something, but I read some comic books, and I find it interesting. So I want to learn something about it.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome, Mao. Okay. Now we've got everybody introduced, yeah?
Professor.
Marcus.
It's Jan.
What's up, Jan? Yeah. How you
Hello.
doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good evening, everyone. Actually in Professor Paluso's class as well. I do a lot of oil paintings, but I'm recently moving right now, so I can't really show you anything. I just paint as a hobby. That's it.
Good for you. Good for you. Welcome, Jan. It's nice to Zoom meet you.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, it's good.
It's actually good.
Cool. Anybody else? Okay.
I'll jump in.
Okay, Kimberly.
Yeah, my name's Kimberly. And I write poetry. I'm not much of an artist. I have done a couple of short animated shorts, and I'm here to learn more about comics. I'm excited about this.
Good.
Thanks.
Great. Welcome, Kimberly. Other folks? Other folks?
There's
Just
one in the
one more.
chat.
Just one more. It's me.
Adam.
My name's Adam Blockdyke. I'm in Mr. Paluso's English 1A class. I go to Mount SAC. This is my first year at Mount SAC. This is also my first workshop at Mount SAC, and I'm very excited to learn about comic book reading. I love the classics like Batman and all that, so
Nice.
great to listen about this.
Nice. We got Batman on the program today, so don't worry, Adam.
In fact, I drew a picture for my dad of Batman.
You did a great job. So we've had everybody introduce themselves. Okay, cool. All right,
Professors, I believe there's one more in the chat.
Man, one more in the chat. Okay. How do I? Have I stopped screen sharing? No, I
You're
haven't.
Still sharing.
How do I get back?
Put them to the side. Right there.
How? Do you know
like
how?
how you
Okay.
like that, and then press
And then
stop share.
stop share. Okay, cool. So now I can have my camera back on because now you're going to do the booklet. Good. Okay. Now that we've all introduced ourselves, thank you very much. This is going to be awesome. Okay. Now I'm going to turn it on over to Maddie, and she's going to make the book.
These little books.
She's going to make a little book with us. She's going to guide us through how to do this. Okay. And then we're going to do a lecture material about what we're going to put in the comic after we make the book. Sound good? Okay. To do this, we're going to need a piece of
paper, white computer paper. If you don't have plain white paper, then you can use lined paper. That's just as fine. But just if you have white paper, then try to use that.
Okay.
The next thing you're going to need is a pair of scissors, because this will be an important part to our craft. But if you don't have any scissors, then just carefully tear when we're going to have to do this. All right?
Yeah.
And then the final thing is a pencil, which is optional. You don't have to use a pencil, but I'm going to use a pencil so I can show you where the line is that we're going to be cutting. All right. So I'm going to ask a question. Does anybody know?
Let's give them a couple minutes to get the materials, and then thanks, Francesca. I know she's great. And is it Lucia Celeste? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I just saw your introduction in the chat, so thank you and welcome. We're happy to have you with us. Okay.
Maybe type the materials in the chat just in case they're
Yes. Okay. So we're getting, when you have your paperback, if you have you want to just give me an affirmative and like hold it or something, and then, okay, Sabrina got one, or yeah, tell me in the chat, please.
Yes.
So that I'll know when we're all ready to go. And the scissors and stuff. The thumbs up, yeah.
Scissors.
The little icon thing to click.
Oh, there's icons in Zoom too?
Yeah,
That's cool.
you know, all this stuff.
Oh, reactions.
Okay.
Very unused to this.
Okay. Okay, we ready to go on with our next step?
Ready? All right.
Take it again.
Great job. So I would like to ask, does anybody know what hot dog and hamburger folds are?
She'll explain too.
Yeah, I'll explain how to do them, but
How do we start?
of course.
What's our step one? I'm ready to
So
go.
the first step is we're gonna first I'm gonna teach you what hot dog and hamburger folds are along the way. So first thing we're gonna do is prep for a hot dog fold. So we're gonna hold our paper like we're gonna draw a long something or something.
Yeah.
Like this, and just like a hot dog, fold down corner to corner, long and skinny like a hot dog.
And you want to be really precise with it, as precise as you can.
Take as much time as you need
To make a really precise fold.
Yes, because
if it's a little off, it comes out really off later.
Yes. So try to do it exactly as best as you can.
I'm gonna do my best.
Do
I'm
your
trying.
best.
I'm
You're
trying.
doing great.
I'm focused.
You'll be able to do it. All right. So when you're ready, just give a little thumbs up or tell me in the chat.
I don't even know where to put that little icon. Somebody puts a little icon. I don't know. Doesn't
go to
matter.
reactions.
I can't get.
And
Oh, the reactions
Yeah.
thing. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
See?
Okay, got it.
All right. The next, is everybody ready? Everybody ready?
Okay, I'm ready for the next step.
Are you all ready?
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
What
well.
next?
So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna unfold it so that we have like a long crease down the middle. See my crease?
And is the
We're gonna-
pointy part going out when we fold it?
Away.
Away, pointy away?
Yes.
Just do it. Sorry. I'm
All
sorry.
right, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna hold our paper like this, the opposite of what we did before. We're gonna hold it long ways, just like a comic.
So that it opens out like a
That
book.
opens out like this.
Toward
See,
you.
a kind of magazine or something.
Okay.
The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do a hamburger fold, which is the opposite of a hot dog fold, which is when you're gonna hold this like that and fold down, just like when we did our hot dog fold, except this time it's gonna be kind of thicker and yeah, and less long. So just like that, you fold it down from here, folding down, just like that. And then just like before, we're gonna crease it down the middle, just like before, if corner to corner, edge to edge, as good as you can. Hopefully I can do this.
Did I do it right?
Yes, you did. You did it perfect. So then if you unfold it, you will have like kind of like a picture frame or window, some sort of window. So we're gonna go back to our hamburger fold like this.
Back to hamburger.
Yes, back to hamburger. And then we're gonna do holding it like this, just like we finished if we finished our hamburger fold. Then we're gonna do a hot dog fold on the hamburger fold. Isn't that kind of crazy?
Okay.
So we're gonna do it, holding it like this. If we held it like this, then it would be a hamburger fold. But we're gonna hold it like we're about to do a hot dog fold. So then we're gonna actually do a hot dog fold, trying to keep the corner to corner steps all the way through. So that it's kind of skinny like the hot dog fold, because it is the hot dog fold.
Okay.
All right, so once you're ready, just give me a thumbs up or tell me in the chat. Everybody ready? All right. Thank you. Yes, you did. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna unfold it once.
Unfold it only once.
Only once, just like that.
So should the paper, should the
So
openingness be at the top?
The little flappy part should be at the top, so that where the little crease is, see like this, how the flappy part is at the top. Well, you want it like that. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our pencil, but you don't have to use a pencil if you don't want to. You don't even have to do it if you don't want to. But I'm gonna do it because Zoom is kind of hard to see.
So on the inside.
So here's some scissors.
Yeah, on the
So we're
inside.
gonna hold it with the flappy part at the
Flappy
top.
part is at the top.
Flappy part at the top.
Where?
You can
Just tell
kind
me
of
where.
see where the crease is right there. Can you kind of see it?
Uh-huh.
All right. So where the crease is, we're gonna draw a line straight on the crease.
Is that where we're cutting? We're cutting on the crease?
Yes, up to this little part, but I'm gonna
Up to the midpoint?
draw-
Do we cut from here to here? Danny? Do we cut from here to here?
Yes, we're gonna cut. See my line where the floppy part ends, just like that. So that this, the pocket is at the bottom, just like this, up to the middle crease,
Up to the midpoint.
midpoint, right there. And then the next thing we're gonna do,
Center point?
center point. Yes.
Whatever.
In the middle.
Did I do that
So
right?
yes, but I haven't gotten to that for them. The next thing we're gonna do
So we have to cut it. Yeah.
is we have to cut on that line drawn. So right there, you're gonna take your pair of scissors. If you don't have scissors, then you can just carefully tear. But we're gonna cut on the line. Can you see this?
So that it ends up like this.
So that it ends up like my dad's and like mine, kind of.
So the cut is on the bottom and the openness is on the top.
Yes, the little flappy part is at the top, and it kind of looks like.
But I don't have scissors.
Then you can use. Then
Scissors.
you can tear
Rip.
very carefully.
Very carefully.
Very, very carefully, like that. Just tearing carefully.
You can do the saliva method.
I don't know that.
I don't know what that is
You
either.
lick the tip of your finger and slide it across the fold and then gently rip.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
I've never heard of that, but that's cool. Thank you for telling us that. So this part's kind of hard. So when you're all ready, just tell me in the chat or again, do a thumbs up.
Okay. Okay, they got the cut.
All right, is everybody ready? All right, everybody's ready. Awesome.
Okay.
Now we're gonna unfold it. Unfold all the folds.
All the folds
So it's kind
unfold.
of like this, if you
Okay.
see it like that.
Yeah.
All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hold it about like we're gonna do, well, long wise like this, and we're gonna do a hot dog fold,
Okay.
and then here comes the super hard part. If you thought that was hard,
This is my
then
favorite.
think about this.
This is my favorite.
So we're gonna kind of push it from the edges at the head like that.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna pushing just like that. And we're gonna kind of put the flaps together in the form of a book.
You like push it in and then it's like
Pushing it in.
boom.
Yeah,
Multiple
so I'm
pages.
like this. But once you get to here and you fold these flaps in, because these are the easy flaps to fold in, you're gonna put the other part in,
Squeeze it.
squeezing together so that you have a little book. Just like that. Yes, Kelsey. Great job. Yes, great job, everybody.
Has everybody got your book?
Everybody
Okay.
got your little booklet? Great. I hope you guys enjoyed me teaching you how to do this. So now we
Great
can
job.
start with the comic part with my dad and me. So I'm gonna go up with Danny while my dad does this part.
Thank
I
you so
love
much,
him,
Maddie. You did
and I
fantastic.
hope you
Didn't she
guys
do
enjoyed
great?
this. Yeah, I do awesome.
Oh man.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maddie. You're
I hope
fantastic.
this turned out like this for you guys. I'm sorry if I
It will.
didn't-
We'll talk about
I'm
it.
sorry if I didn't go through the steps very clear, but
You did great. You did great with the steps.
But
They're
thank-
really, really good.
Thank you.
Okay. Make sure to take your pencil with you so you can write the
Yes.
story stuff that we're gonna go
Very
over.
excited.
Okay.
I'm gonna get a D.
That's fine. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Goodbye, guys. You will see me on Danny's screen probably.
Yeah.
Good old Danny's screen. All
Thank you.
right. Bye, everyone.
Oh man. It's great, huh? Oh man. I love her a lot. I'm very proud of her. Okay. So now without Maddie to help me, I have to remember how to share screen all by myself. Can I do it while she's
I'm
running?
still
No,
here.
I got it. I got it,
I'll
Maddie.
show you.
I got it. Thank you. Go on upstairs. Go on upstairs. You're fine. Thank you. Okay. This is what I want to share. Okay. Okay. Can folks see my screen again?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay, cool. So everybody's with me? Okay. So now Maddie's done great with that. Okay. What I want to do with folks is now with your pencil, okay? Do I even have my pencil? I don't have a pencil. That's fine. Now with your pencil, what I'd like you to do, we're going to go over like story structure stuff, okay? What I thought was so great about the little booklet, once Maddie taught me how to make one of these, is that as I was thinking about how to develop this workshop for today and how to think about comic books and how to create comic books, first thing I wanted to be able to get to was the idea of the materiality of it. So I wanted to do something really physical. And then I figured out that, as you can see here, if you're opening through, so that's the front cover, right? Open up, you got the front cover, and then you have pages like 1 and 2 right here, okay? 1 and 2, in a metaphor kind of way, we're gonna have that be Act 1, that those pages 1 and 2 represent Act 1. So I'd like you to write Act 1 across the opening pages here, okay? That's the beginning of the story. Now, whether you've got a 22-page comic, okay? If you've got a 22-page comic, then like roughly the first 25% of the comic would be the Act 1, would be the beginning of the comic, okay? Because what happens in Act 1 here, the beginning of the story, is that we're gonna have a problem that happens to the character or the hero, the main character, okay? So on your page 1 and page 2 of your comic, I want you to write Act 1, and over here, I want you to write problem. And we're gonna go more into specific details as we go through, okay? The rest of the workshop. And then I want you to open to page, what would be 2 and 3, or 3 and 4, 3 and 4 of your comic, the middle pages of your comic, okay? And at the top of that, I want you to write Act 2, which is the middle of your story, okay? Act 2 is the middle of your story. And on the other side of this, I'd like you to write Complication, because that's what happens in storytelling, is that in Act 1, we get the problem presented to the hero. But in Act 2, we're going to have the complication. And the hero is going to be trying to accomplish something. And that we call the narrative question. Okay. If you think back to like Avengers, the first Avengers movie, okay, the way back one, 10 years ago Avengers movie, will the Avengers be able to stop the aliens from invading New York City? That was the narrative question of Act 2 of the Avengers movie. And the answer at the end of Act 2 turned out to be no, because the aliens did invade New York City, and then they had to stop those aliens once they'd already invaded. So does that make sense, folks, about the narrative question of Act 2 is a complication of the problem that was presented in Act 1. In a comic, if it's 22 pages long, this is going to be roughly the middle 50%. 50% of the story would be the Act 2, the complication. And then I want you to flip now to page 5 and 6 of your little booklet. And I want you to write Act 3 on one side. And then on the other side, I want you to write, the resolution. I want you to write it out on the inside back cover is what that would be. So now you have pages 1, 2 representing your Act 1 of the story, 2, 3 representing or 3, 4 representing the middle.
I'm a little bit confused. Can you go back? So Act 1 next to that is a problem, correct? So Act 1 and then problem.
Act 1, problem. Mm-hmm.
So like this here, Act 1.
Yes. And then we go to Act 2, complication.
And then this one, Act 3.
Act 3 is resolution. resolution.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Great. Now, what I think is really interesting about this booklet, in addition to being very cute and you can hold it in your hand, what I think is really cool about this booklet is that it creates the idea of a comic as a physical thing and really puts it in a microcosm, in a small scale in your hands. And so you can think about how, whether it's going to be a 6-page story, like you can have the format for doing today, this would get you a complete 6-page story with a beginning, middle, and end if you follow the kind of strategy I'm going to present here in the workshop. It'll get you a complete story. So that's 6 pages, okay? And that 6 pages could be formatted to fill 22 pages. You guys with me? Or you could format it to fit 6 issues at 22 pages an issue, and then you've got yourself a graphic novel. You've got a complete story that goes Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. So really, you can make it 12 issues long, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. You can make it 100 issues long, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. But it's ultimately always going to fall structurally in that big way. And it's never too late to review those essentials of story structure, like as the idea of why we're reviewing that today. Do I have any questions so far about the story structure of the booklet?
Can you repeat the graphic novel thing one more time?
Graphic novel is when you've got 6, it can be like 5 to 6, 22-page comics together makes one graphic novel.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So moving forward then, we've now gone from scratch. Now we're going forward to sketch. Part of what I've been learning at the Kubert School is how to step back in the process of comic creation. We're used to reading a finished story. And so the mistake can be to look at your art and think it doesn't look good because it doesn't look like that finished art from stories you're used to reading and seeing. Does that make sense, folks? We've got to remember that that finished art is the product, that is the end result of a process, is what I'd like to keep in mind. I don't have the chat open on my thing because I'm screen sharing. So how can I get both screen share and chat together?
If you press escape, the chat.
Now I've got my chat up. Can you guys see my chat? I don't mind if you do, but
no.
Okay. Okay, cool. So, you know, I'm in these classes with these amazing illustrators, and, you know, the work that I have to turn in is like complete penciled pages, and they're talking about like, okay, but before you do that, let's talk about the thumbnails. We're going to talk for hours about stick figures. And these are professional working artists, and they want to talk about the exact way that the stick figure is going to be composed. It's not practically a stick figure. It's more like a shape, you know, but for all intents and purposes, it would be a stick figure in the thumbnails, what they call the thumbnail phase. So that's what I'd like us to be doing here today, is that, you know, we're doing it. We are making a comic here together. You're going to have something, you know, by 6:30 when we're done. And I think that's just really cool to like get in there and like be doing the work, and then you start and it's sketchy and it's like a, you know, it's okay that it's a stick figure because it's yours. You know what I mean? This is just for you today. You don't have to go publish this like today. This is just like the first step, you know, like that first step to creating comics. It's like a psychology, you know, it's like a mindset, and there's a fun to it, which is really, really cool. That I'd like to. So we talked about this, the idea of stick figures. Sergio Cariello and Tom Mandrake particularly taught me a lot about this. Put significant time and energy into the thumbnails phase of a comic. Stick figures. You position within your image area how you would like the elements to ultimately be. So I want you to open up to like page 1, for instance, where it says Act 1, right? You have that little space, right? There's not a lot of space there, right? Even if you wanted to, you couldn't draw like a really good picture in that size area. Do you know what I mean? Like that would be impossible to expect of yourself. But what you could do in there is do like a really good like little thumbnail and start writing out like what you would want the characters to say. Do you know what I mean? And when you're working on like a bigger piece of paper, the temptation can be to be doing too much detail on like one thing, and you don't know if you want to ultimately be doing that or not. So if you start small, then you really have to think out the specific image area of each panel and how you want each panel to be on the page. Now, some people think that comics can have all different kinds of panels on the page. Usually it's something like 5. I'd say 5 is an average size of amount of panels on a page, and they can be different shapes or different sizes or whatever, you know. But then there's also people who will do like 4 equal panels on every page, and it's all uniform, all the same panel size throughout the whole thing. Or you could do 6 panels and it looks like a grid throughout. I mean, there's really no rule, which I love about comics. There's no rule about how the story needs to be presented inside. It could be stick figures, and if you have stick figures saying things to each other and somebody's reading it, then you've got yourself a comic. You know, it's a cartoony style picture, but I mean, you're telling a story with art, and so you're doing it, you know. I find that really, really exciting. Do I have any questions about the thumbnail idea of working in the little book like this? Serena, you got a question? Oh, that was a yes from earlier, maybe. I don't even know what time it is. I can't even see my clock on the screen. Okay. Anybody have a question? Okay, sorry. Sorry, Serena. Okay.
I have a question. Nikhil has a question.
Yeah.
For the little book art, when we're creating that, what exactly do we put in there? Like, what kind of things should we be including for that art? That's what I'm not sure about.
Okay, we're going to get to that. What I want to do today with everybody who's down, and if you don't want to do it today or tonight, you'll have learned of how to do it later if you want to. Okay. What I want us to do is to create an origin story with this thumbnail comic. Everybody here, I want you to create your own new superhero. You can call it a superhero if you want, doesn't matter. It's a character, it's a main character. A main character of a story is always the hero of the story if we're talking archetypally. So whether you want to call it a superhero or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's the hero, it's the character. We're going to do a story about this. Okay. So it's super special and it's private for you. You don't ever have to share this character that you're going to create here in this workshop with anybody. Or it could be like awesome and you want to share it with everybody on your social media. Hashtag Culturama 2020. You know what I mean? You don't know. You got to do it first. Okay. So I want everyone to create a hero that is going to be there for you when you need that hero, when you're feeling at your lowest. You know what I mean? So in order for us to create that hero that's going to be able to save us at our lowest, we gotta look and we have to think about our lowest. We have to look and think about our fears. Okay. Going back to the thing real quick. Okay. The origin story, as we're going to have here, the origin story is a specific kind of self-contained story. Now, I know that, so the example here is from Aristotle, where he said the life of Hercules is not a story, because that's the whole person's life, okay? But within the life of Hercules, you can have different stories. Does that make sense? So one of these kinds of stories is the origin story that comes from in the, early days of the hero. Sound good? Do I have any questions so far? We're doing an origin story. We're gonna go over three origin stories in comics. It's gonna be really quick and it's really fast and it's really familiar. That's really cool to see the structure that we're talking about. Okay, so we're gonna go over examples of origin stories. Okay, first, Krypton explodes. Boom, baby sent in rocket, raised to be Superman. 1, 2, 3. Problem, complication, resolution. Okay, this is the origin of Superman as conceived by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, the creators of Superman. And then what I'm going to show you here on the screen is a comic retelling by the writer Grant Morrison and the artist Frank Quitely from the graphic novel All-Star Superman. You get the origin of Superman, and remember I told you about like the 6 pages of a booklet? Well, they can do it in 1 page, like 1 page in 4 panels. It's incredible. Okay, so check this out. So first panel here, you see how they're all the same size panels? Like a widescreen, like a movie screen? That's on purpose, give you like that movie effect, okay? So first panel here, doomed planet, desperate scientists, last hope, kindly couple. So there you have the Kents discovering the baby. And look at that baby from the baby point of view. Look at that, that's genius. From the point of view of the little baby Clark Kent looking out and seeing his adoptive parents. It's amazing. Great storytelling. And that's something that you have to have the idea first, you know, as the writer, be like, I want to do a shot that is from the baby's point of view. I don't know if we've ever seen that in comics before. And this is Superman we're talking about. There have been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of retellings of this origin story, but they still found something new to kind of contribute and make it more emotional, that origin story. Okay, so that's our Superman example. Let's go on. Here's our next example. Loving parents, murdered by mugger. Boy swears on their graves he'll spend the rest of his life warring on crime. Becomes Batman. This is the origin as written by Bill Finger with artist Bob Kane. And then what follows here in your handout you have is a retelling of that origin as written by Jeff Loeb and penciled by Jim Lee. So Jim Lee is one of the greatest illustrators of comics alive today for decades. And you can see his incredible emotive artwork here. Here we got 1 page for a Batman silhouette. And that's actually an homage to the original formatted script of the Batman origin by Bill Finger from around less than 80 years ago. So here on the first page, we have the parents murdered by mugger. And then what's important here is over on page 2, you see the tears in the eye of the little boy, little Bruce Wayne. That's the oh shit moment when all the criminals need to worry for the rest of their lives because now there's Batman. That's the vow. And becomes Batman is the end of the origin story here. But see how clean it is and it works 1, 2, 3. There's a problem, there's a complication, and the resolution is always that they become the hero in the end. It's beautiful. That sounds awesome, Kelsey. Go for it. Okay. Do I have any questions about the first 2 origins? Okay. Last, we've got awkward teenager bitten by radioactive spider, gains spider powers and learns with great power comes great responsibility, becomes Spider-Man. All thanks to Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, we have that web-slinging wisecracker. And then this is a retelling of Spider-Man's origin in 1 page here. I could not, for the life of me, find who the writer was of this specific 1-pager, but it looks old. But I know that the original origin was written by Stan Lee. Okay, so now we got to talk about your hero's origin. How to come up with your hero's origin. So that means we have to start with problem. We have to start with that problem in Act 1. That's always where we start. Now, maybe you have an idea for a character. Okay. So Kelsey, you've got 3 cats. 3 cats. Okay. So you can do a protagonist who's, who is 3 people. It's like a team type thing. That totally works. So you can have them approaching the problem together. Okay. Now, when considering a problem for your hero's origin, I want everybody here to go to your fear. The moment that fear happens, that worst case scenario, the end of the world, that is not the end of the story. That is the beginning. Now, isn't that awesome? Like, you just have to imagine your worst case scenario. You're like, okay, what would be the one thing that I do not want to have happen to me? That would be just the worst thing of my worst case scenario. That's the beginning. That happens. Happens to somebody. Hero stories are about teaching ourselves to move forward and past our fears, our worst fears, to conquer them, so that should the time come, we're emotionally pre-prepared to handle it and overcome. That's what particularly the superhero trope is about, handling the tragedy of birth and overcoming it to become a hero of humanity. Now, what do I mean by tragedy of birth? Tragedy insofar as that you didn't get to choose it, to come into this world, you just kind of had to. And so there you are. Some people of a dark disposition might say that's a worst case scenario, is have to live through a human existence on planet Earth. But just, that's the metaphor, is that like, okay, now I have to deal with this. How do I do it? How do I do it the best possible way? How do I tap into this power inside me to make a best world out of a worst case scenario? That's really empowering, really fun. And I'd also like to draw folks' attention to the point that the origin plot point 1. So this first page, okay, first page and second page is about an agent outside of the hero's control doing something to them. Okay, mugger, Krypton explodes, radioactive spider. It's never the hero's like fault. They're the baby or a little kid at the time. It's never their fault. It's something bad that happens to them. Okay. And then this is the other thing that I'm really into. Act 2, the complication, is about the hero making an emotional choice. It's personal and it's meaningful. You know, what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man isn't the fact that he was bitten by a radioactive Spider-Man. What isn't the fact he was bitten by a radioactive spider. What makes him Spider-Man is that he resolved to use his spider powers to never turn a blind eye, to stop criminals, so that nobody would be hurt like he was hurt losing his Uncle Ben. That's when he becomes a hero, when he decides to help other people. It's not just getting bit by a spider. That's a problem. You guys with me? Okay. Okay. And then the other cool thing, when you want to think about villain for later, when you've got a bad guy, their emotional decision point is not going to be to do something selfless for other people. Okay. Their decision point is to be selfish. That's what makes them the bad guy in the story, is that they could have gone one way when that problem happened to them, but they went this way. The hero went this way, they went that way. That's what makes them a villain. That turning selfish, turning inward as opposed to turning outward. These are some conventional Western value ideologies. Okay. Talked about that. And then the resolution, the coming into being. This last 2-page spread is the hero in full costume design, and I'd also recommend in full expression of personality. So like Spider-Man is so funny to me, but you can't see his face. You can see those big eyes, but you can't see his face. And I think like a lot of the humor we usually get is through, you know, people's expressions and stuff, but you can't do that when you're Spider-Man. So what can you do instead if you can't do his his expression. You can do a goofy posture. You can do him in a goofy position, and that's him showing his personality. Does that make sense? So that's where we're going to get to. The vibe should be in that picture. Do I have any questions so far about this origin method? It's like super reductionistic, and it's like super like, oh, there's paint by numbers, 1, 2, 3. And I think that's really fun. I think that's really cool. I think anybody can do it if it's shown how it works. You know what I mean? Okay, no questions. I hope folks have like ideas percolating a little bit. I want to give folks some time to work on this. Can I show you like my example real quick, and then I'll let you guys have some time to work on this, and then we'll share our results. And then I have like my last stuff that I want to share with you and the comic and stuff. Sound good? Okay, so I'll go through my little example here. Okay, I came up with this because, and so this is personal, and this is like, you know, me trying to tackle this, but here we go. This is the origin of Party Man. Party Man. It's a character I just came up with. He's debuting here now for the first time ever anywhere. The origin of Party Man. Opening page is socially distanced loner during pandemic of 2020. Man, he didn't used to like people. Melvin Martinez, that's his name, Melvin Martinez. He would stick to himself, not want to be around people. And then the pandemic, and he had to stay home. He couldn't even go to school. Couldn't even much of anything. Worst case scenario for Melvin Martinez. One dark night on his birthday, in his solitude and despair, Melvin swears that when the world reopens, he shall never be alone again. This brings us to the resolution. Behold, Party Man, the life of the party, wherever he goes. In the near future, after the world has safely reopened and coronavirus is a thing of the past, here comes Party Man showing up at offices, schools, and blasting a boombox and bringing food and dancing and different random wild stuff. Everybody stands around talking, having drinks, eating food, or dancing, having a good time. He always has chips. Always.
That's funny.
That's Party Man. So how I did this was I was thinking about, you know, worst case scenario, okay, pandemic, but, you know, like it's got to be something that it would like, there's a twist there, you know, like you would think that somebody who doesn't like people to then be in the pandemic, that, you know, that it would be fine. But no, it's the worst. He's like, man, I thought I didn't like people before. Now I can't be around him. I you know, and that would make him become this extreme extrovert. Makes sense to me. I don't know. It's just receiving ideas. So I'm totally going to draw this. I totally want to do this as like a little mini comic. I'm totally excited to do Party Man. Yeah, party hat. Absolutely. Party hats everywhere. I see Maddie found the party hat emoji. Yeah. So does anybody have any questions for me? Shall we do 5 minutes of like art and drawing and then share our results? Does that sound good? And you can work on either pages 1 and 2, or pages 3 and 4, or pages 5 and 6, where it's the costume of the hero. Does that sound good? No questions? Okay, good. No questions. I will interpret to mean that that was clear, and so I did a good job, and that's what that means. Okay. All right, now I'm going to go on mute, and let's draw, and I'll keep track of the time too. And it just turned 6:05, so at 6:10 we'll get together and share our results. Sound good? Okay, let's do it. Okay, we got about 1 minute left. All righty. So you're not expected to have, completed a whole six page comic there. But I would like to hear from folks. I'm sorry, I'm in a problem with my, okay, I'm gonna stop share for right now. Okay, good. This, I know this. Okay. Would anybody like to share what they did or what they're thinking of? I'd love to hear some ideas here.
I'll go.
Kelsey, you're gonna go first? Okay.
Sorry, it's freezing up on me. Yeah, I mean, I just drew the first page. So I had 3 characters and I did 1 panel for each cat. I don't know how well you can see, but Basho, he eats a genetically mutated plant. This is the cat that really loves that. And then Isa is plagued by a new species of fleas. And he's the cat that gets the fleas the worst. And this is Ladybug. And she has eaten 1 too many to go garbage can meals. And we found her in the back alley. So these are my babies.
That's great. I love that the problem comes from them just doing regular their cat business. Their
Because the
important
whole
cat
thing is
business.
it's people issues, right? So they're
Yeah.
encountering all these people issues.
Yeah.
And it kind of like it screws them up.
Yeah.
And then they like that's going to mutate them, right? And then they'll turn into something that can help humanity.
If they want to, or they could kill us all.
Well,
Those cats.
that's plan B. Thanks, Robert.
Absolutely. That sounds great, Kelsey. I wish you all the best with that. Yeah, whatever their emotional what their decision is going to be, that's your big middle. You know what I mean? That's the big middle there. That's going to make them be there, who they're going to be. Would anybody else like to share? Jump on in, the water's fine.
I'll share.
Okay.
I'll also share after her. So I did the last 2 pages. This is Gertie, Super Gertie. She's a dog and she's a superhero. She's the rescued rescuer. So she's a rescued dog, and then she's gonna come rescue other stray dogs. So here's a sad dog with rain falling on him, and she's gonna come save him. And that's I don't know how she's going to save him, but she has good intentions.
Oh, he's awesome.
So
let's get her tummy rubbed.
That is awesome. That's really cool, Danny.
Thank
you, Danny.
Natalie, you'd like to share?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
So I made The Legend of Picture Girl.
Picture Girl?
This is the cover page. I kind of did the cover.
Nice.
Legend of Picture Girl.
Nice.
And then I did the first page. So I kind of spent the first 4 minutes writing about, and then I kind of did the rest. But In Act 1, there once was a woman in college who was a photographer, but one day, crash! An amazingly large earthquake, losing everyone's lives, lives one girl and a camera.
Great.
Partly damaged Elisa. The photographer picks up her camera, looking about. This is
That's great.
everybody laying on the floor.
Yeah, that's great, Maddie. Good job. You got the problem of, something that's not in her control that happens that's the earthquake. That's awesome. And then she has to take that camera and like survey the devastation. And the story goes.
Next is, well, I wasn't really able to finish, but I kind of planned out the last parts. And so I kind of made her have, so she wakes up in confusion, looking about, and then she figures out that she is the only human being alive on Earth today. And so then her resolution is she picks up her camera, takes a picture of everything, and then suddenly somebody starts coughing and gets up.
Oh,
and
man. That's good, man.
Then she figures out that as she keeps taking pictures, every picture saves one life in the world. So that's kind of my story.
That's really cool.
For Picture Girl. So
Good job, Maddie. You have to keep developing that, okay? That sounds very good. That's all like brand new, guys. She just came up with that, I swear. Very good. Rio, did you want to post what you wanted to write about in the chat? We can read that. And if anybody wants to post like just kind of where you were at or what you were, coming up with in the chat, that would be great too. You don't have to show your work. Yeah, okay, Rio, cool. What else are we going to talk about?
We've got somebody, Serena wrote something in the chat.
Serena? Oh, nice. Okay, good. Can I read it, Serena? Can I read it aloud to the workshop? Yay. Okay. Okay. So Serena says, I drew a stick figure cat. Blinky the cat, my cat, is a broody cat who wishes to be feral, even though he lives a cushy life. That's dope. That's dope. He was found in the street when he was young enough he couldn't fend for himself. His adventures include multiple attempts to escape the house, teaching his sidekick Mittens how to manipulate the humans, and plotting his move against the neighborhood birds. This is very good. This is a very good beginning. Blinky. I love the tragic irony of Blinky's yearning. I identify with Blinky very strongly off of your one sentence. A cushy life cat who wishes it was feral. That's wonderful.
I think Kimberly also shared in the chat. It's like a file.
Okay, cool. This ping, can I download this?
Yeah, I downloaded it. It's really adorable.
I'm gonna click on it. I'm gonna see what happens.
You might be able to share it with your screen.
I don't know what. Okay.
Well, if you open the file.
Super Kimonese.
I don't know if there's anyone else. Let me check.
Super Kimonese. Hated bath time, but someone stole her towel. Freezing and shivering, she vowed never to let anyone go cold again. Super Kimonese. Very cool. Very cool. And the style, I like the style very much. That kind of
Can you share it? Because I'm having a hard time opening it. Can you share your screen with the picture?
Yes, I will do that. I can do that with.
You go, Robert. You go. You go.
Did I do it?
For you.
Yay!
Thank you. Adorable.
Super.
I love it.
Really nice. Really nice. These are so cool, guys. Okay, stop sharing so I can go back to see everybody. Nice.
Another one in the chat from Rio.
Nice.
Do you want me to read it?
Rio, do
you want to read it?
You want to read it? Okay. Do you want me to read it, Rio, or do you want to read it? Just tell me in the chat. Okay, mic is broken. Okay, so I'll read it. So Rio writes, my character is a little German puppy dog named Beans, who is deathly afraid of leaf blowers, like you are. One day, his owner loses his hand to a leaf blower, but Beans couldn't save him because he was so scared. And from that day on, he vows to destroy every leaf blower in the world. Very good. That's a good dog. That's a good dog. That's what a good dog would do, clearly. Very good. Very good. Yes, John. I think we know who's on the right side of history here, and it is Beans. It is Beans. Yeah. Very good, Real. Thank you. This is so cool. I love the animal cartoons characters. You know, I've not gotten to write one yet myself, but I love them. You could do so many different kinds of stories with those, you know, and you don't have to be like master illustrator teaching classes over at the Kubert School. You know what I mean? In order to tell those stories, and they need to be told. I mean, sweet Christmas. Can we lighten up? You know what I mean? Can we have some fun and tell our stories, you know, and celebrate our creativity? Or else what? Do what? Go where? Do what? What else are you going to do? You know what I mean? Why not? That's my argument anyway. Very, very cool, guys. Thank you, everybody, for sharing who has. Would anybody else like to share what you're thinking about? Or does anyone have any questions that you'd like to ask? You're more than welcome to ask questions. How can a man gesture so much is a question I often get. The answer is I'm Italian American, a proud Italian American. That's the answer. Any other questions? Okay.
I'll ask, what's your next project?
What's up, Kelsey? So my next project, I've just finished Redemptor Playing Hero, which is a Culturama exclusive first edition. Should I give it to you guys now? Do you want it now? It's 25 pages. I'm going to do it. I'm going to file drop it. This is all thanks to Danny that I'm able to do this, because am I still on screen share? No. Okay, good.
No, we're looking at gallery view.
No, just kidding.
So my project, I'm really having a problem getting out of this. It's only letting me go to like pull files from recent, and like that's not where it is.
Do you have the link, John, or no?
Previous
a lot of times John has the link. It's like magic.
If you send me the link, I can put it on my screen if you like.
Danny is coming down to help you.
Oh, how nice.
Go, Danny.
No, she made the thing for me. I'm looking for it.
Go, Danny.
All right.
So while she clicks, I can talk. So this is what I was trying to do from the file here, and then it comes to this thing, and it's not in my Dropbox. So I'm working on a comic that is now issue 2, what comes after this one, and that will kind of complete the Redemptor first kind of main story. So what I'm going to send folks today is kind of like half of it, but it's taken, you know, a good amount of time to complete these 25 pages. And then I'm going to go on to issue 2. I don't know how soon I want to release the whole thing, but I thought it would be fun to. That looks promising.
Yeah, I think I'm getting someplace.
No, that's processed.
Redemptor compressed.
Yay! Danny found
right,
it. Danny's the best.
Woohoo! Go, Danny. Go, Danny. Oh, yeah. I'll touch your computer. Oh, no.
And then, so I'm working on issue 2 right now. And then after that, I'm going to do issue 1 of a different series, which takes place in 1967 and is more of a thriller. And I've spent about 10 years on it. It's a thriller. It's a Hitchcockian thriller taking place in San Francisco in 1967. So I've done lots and lots of scholarly research into it. It's going to be super cool. It's going to be a very different kind of art style. But I'm starting on that next. So that would be my next project. Yes, John, you could share your screen. Okay. And are folks able to download the comic that went in there?
Yeah.
I did.
Yep.
Well, there it is, John. Yep. That would be it. And as you see here, the Culturama 2020 exclusive preview edition. And this is dedicated to Maddie, and there she is. Because she's actually the model. She's the inspiration and the model for a lot of the, for the main character that you're gonna see here. There she is. So this is from one of Maddie's katas, a pose from one of her katas in karate. And she posed that for me, and I got to draw that. So this is, yeah, that's it. Thanks, John. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, it's fully written, fully colored, and it's super fun. I have a lot of fun with it. I hope you like it. I would love to hear what folks think of it. And what you thought of the workshop overall. I did put contact info and stuff at the end of the Creating Comics handout that everybody should have gotten, which has got me like on Twitter and Instagram. And if you had a good time, you know, please let folks know about Culturama. We still have lots of workshops still to go, lots of cool stuff. But thank you all for letting me talk with you guys for an hour and a half about comics on a Sunday in November. That's pretty rad, right? Did you?
All right. Well, thank you, Robert. It feels like Culturama is done, but it's not. It's not. We still have one more full weekend. Come on back next weekend. We got all sorts of things. We're going to have half writing, half art. Learn about careers in writing. We can do all sorts of stuff. So great. And join our community page too, so that we can keep the Culturama community going. Thank you so much, Robert.
Thank you all for coming on this Sunday afternoon. This has been really fun. Thank you so much for your attention and your creativity and all these fun characters. Send me word on their adventures. I'd love to read and see them, please. Thank you all.